Good morning and welcome to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. We are located at 1563 Main Street in Peckville, Pennsylvania, and I am right here on this station every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. to bring you, the Pennsylvania landowner, the valuable information that you need regarding natural gas development here in Pennsylvania. So, okay, I've been a bit under the weather this week, but I'm back, and I'm going to tell you this. I am ready for today's show, and I'm fired up for the show because I know I love these topics, and it's going to inform you. Stick with the show. If you have to leave early, go Monday morning, pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. You can listen to today's show and other shows dating back well over the past year. You can go listen to them by topic and get the information that you need. Use it as an educational resource. Use the show. Use the websites, pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. They are not to replace attorney advice, but to use to information, not specific advice or to tell you what to do, but to get you thinking, to get you informed. We need to have people more informed because we need to have people sign fair, appropriate, and again, fair agreements for them, not fair for just the company, because that's not fair. We're talking about fair agreements that are negotiated in good faith to protect you and your property. And too many people continue to sign very bad agreements when better agreements are available and when the landowner is not informed. So we're going to change that, and we're going to start right now. Okay, last week I talked about the SWEPI form lease offer. I talked about the royalty calculation language. I want to come back to that a bit, but listen, stay tuned because unfortunately, I think this may blow some people's minds. When I go through this check at the end of the show in the last segment, I plan on going through this check maybe a little earlier, but stay with it because I'm telling you this is going to be enlightening. And again, it's what you need to know. It's what you need to understand when making your decisions and how to move forward. It's also what you need to know if you're presented with another contract, pipeline, roadway, well site, to understand how this process works, to understand loopholes, to understand how language can be written and manipulated to benefit the other side without you ever even knowing or understanding. And it's not your fault. It's because we don't have that information out there, and that's what we're going to give you. We're going to give you this today, and we're going to keep giving it to you. I've been doing the show now for over 6 years, and I'm not stopping. I'm not going to stop. Okay, so here we go. I was talking about this SWEPI form lease offer. Something I wanted to point out. When we look at these contracts, we have to say, okay, well, has there been a change? Has the company changed what they presented to the landowner over the past many years? And if you see a change, you need to say, why is that change there? Why does that change exist? And you're going to find that it's probably, well, not even probably, any change in a form agreement is going to be intentional, carefully crafted, carefully drafted, designed to benefit the company, not you, the landowner. They are not making changes to their form leases because they said, landowners haven't been doing too well here. Let's change this up and give them a better lease. Not happening, guys. Please, I think everyone knows that, but it's not happening. So here's an example. So Shell, for years, and I'll just say for some time, because I know you get all these calls. Okay, so sometimes we have leases. I'm going to hold one up here. Let me grab this. Okay, I'm holding here a lease offer, lease form from SWEPI LP to a landowner from 2015. This is 2015. There's a provision item number 4. And listen, guys, if you're in Tioga County or if you have a lease offer from SWEPI LP, pull out your documents. Check this out. See if you have language that matches. Or if you're in the car, you're somewhere else and you don't have your documents or you got to go dig around in a drawer, again, the show will be available on the website Monday morning. Come check it out. Pull out your lease and listen along and get some free information, not advice, information. So, okay, 2015 SWEPI LP form offer to a landowner in Farmington Township, Tioga County, saying royalty payment item number 4 on the lease, reading verbatim from the lease offer. Royalty payment on oil and gas, along with all hydrocarbon and non-hydrocarbon substances produced in association therewith, except gas storage, lessee or company shall deliver to lessor, being the landowner, as a royalty of 1/8 of the proceeds, which is 12.5%, less all applicable excise taxes, including production, severance, and windfall profit taxes, and less transportation, compression, dehydration, and gathering costs, if any, realized by lessee, being company, for that produced and marketed off the leased premises. Period. That's the end of the provision. Very standard royalty provision, saying that they're going to pay you royalty 1/8, which is 12.5% of the royalty minus or after these, what we would call post-production cost deductions. So saying we're going to pay you royalties, okay, 12.5% royalties on the proceeds realized. Proceeds realized, meaning we sell it, then we subtract these costs for transportation, gathering, etc., and then we have our proceeds realized after the deductions. Okay, well, we don't like that. We want to get the sell price, but this is saying, hey, you're going to get the sell price minus these deductions. SWEPI lease form offer 2015. Now here I am, envision me throwing that, which I just did. Okay, just adding a little entertainment value here, hopefully. So, okay, 2016 offer. Now, I just read that from 2015. 2016. Here we go. Royalty payment. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not even crazy about reading all this because it's long, but I'm going to do it to illustrate the point. For all oil and gas, except storage gas, that are produced and sold from the leased premises, lessor shall receive as its royalty. In this case, we'll say 12.5%, just to make this even. Royalty 12.5% of 12.5% of the sale proceeds actually received by lessee from the sale of such oil and gas production, less the same percentage of post-production costs as defined below. Very similar to what we saw, or what I read very recently here, just a couple seconds ago. It goes on. Post-production costs means, but is not limited to, item number 1, all losses of produced volume, whether by evaporation, use as fuel, line loss, flaring, venting, or otherwise. And number 2, all costs actually incurred by lessee, being the company, and this is new, and if applicable, lessee's affiliate, noticeably absent from the prior lease form that I just read from. Continuing on then. So, and if applicable, lessee's affiliate from downstream of the wellhead, including without limitation all gathering, diluent, dehydration, compression, treatment, processing, marketing, and transportation costs in connection with the sale of such production. Again, goes on. This is a focus from last week. Pay close attention. This is entirely new from what we saw before, which we need to see the red flags that are popping up around us, like the whack-a-moles, except they're not going back in the ground. they just keep sticking up all around us. Red flags saying alert, 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 and they should be flashing neon red flags. So, okay, goes on to state then, should lessee company sell or transfer or otherwise dispose of such oil and gas to an affiliate of lessee, then lessor shall receive as its royalty 12.5% of the hire of and there's two items then. Item number one, the sale proceeds received by lessee from the sale or transfer of such oil and gas to its affiliate. I'm going to pause there. Do you think that you want to have your gas price valued at the price that a company sells to its own affiliate, or would you prefer the price that the company sells your gas to a third party in an unrelated market transaction? Okay, not a hard question to answer. You don't want the affiliated price sale. You want a sale to a third party who's unrelated to the gas company producing and selling your gas. So it goes on though. Okay, but to reset. Okay, item number one, the sales proceeds received by lessee, which is the company, from the sale or transfer of such oil and gas to its affiliate. Now pay close attention to this little phrase here. At or prior to. At or prior to the first point downstream of the leased premises, generally recognized in the industry as a common point of sale. Let's take a little time on this phrase here. Okay, so this is one of your pricing options of how your gas is going to be valued, or the price set for the gas. What I mean by that is, so your gas is sold and you get paid royalties based upon a gas price at some point. Now, it may be minus or not minus these deductions for post-production costs, but a critical number is, what is the gas being sold at as far as you receiving royalties? Now, we're saying, okay, well, company, if you sell the gas to yourself, an affiliated company, hey, you might sell it a little cheaper than what you would sell it to if you were actually selling it to a third party who's not related to you. So, well, if you're going to sell it to yourselves and we're going to get that sale price, we would prefer that sale price to be at a downstream or away from the wellhead. Guys, we do not want wellhead price. We do not want wellhead price. We want a price downstream, away from the wellhead. That's what we want. We want the price at the interstate pipeline. That's what we want, not the wellhead. So this says, we're going to give you these sale proceeds, okay, received from the company in the sale, okay, to an affiliate at the, I'm going to do some fooling around here with this language. Number one, it could be at the first point downstream, generally recognized as a common point of sale, but this doesn't say that. It says at or before the first point downstream of the leased premises, generally recognized in the industry as a common point of sale. At or before this point, aka we can sell it to ourselves at the wellhead, because that's before the first common point of sale. So it means nothing. You get this whole common point of sale language. Oh, that looks good. Oh, okay. Hey, I'm going to get my royalties valuated at a downstream point of sale. Well, this says no, at or before the first point downstream, at or before. Then number two. So that's one way that you can calculate your royalties, the price the company sells it to itself or its affiliate at the wellhead when the gas comes out of the ground. Or you need to have some protection there. Everyone says, you recognize, well, that doesn't sound good. What if they sell it to themselves real cheap and I get nowhere near the royalty that I would get if they sold it to an actual real third-party buyer where the operator who holds your gas is trying to maximize profit? Well, there's a safety mechanism here, or so at least, in my opinion, it appears that there's a safety mechanism. Item number two, Or your other possible to hire these two, what they sell it to themselves for at the wellhead, or the average daily price the average daily published price for natural gas at the nearest interstate pipeline. So you can either get the price that they sell it to themselves as early as at the wellhead to their affiliate, or the average daily price published for natural gas at the nearest interstate pipeline. So we're going to use the local interstate pipeline price to set the price. Ladies and gentlemen, my opinion, we do not want that. I read from this last week. Here it is. I'm holding it up. A little chart that I have made. Give you some examples of a company that used this local index price versus a company who actually took the gas and gave the landowner the price at the market that they sold, at their sale transaction with an unrelated party. So one company gives the landowner the average price at the index. One company in this example gives the landowner the price when they sell the gas to a third party. When I get back, I'm going to read some of these numbers. You have to stay tuned. We're going to show you the difference in these numbers and what they can be from real examples here. Real examples when I get back after this break. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Join me each week at this time on this station from 8 to 9 a.m. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm here with you every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. right here on this station. So, okay, I'm jumping right in here. Okay, so here's an example, real example from a client's royalty checks where one company used a local index price from the local pipeline, where another company didn't do that. They went out and sold the gas and gave the landowner the price obtained at the point of sale to an unrelated third party. I believe you're going to find that you as a landowner are not going to want the local index price or local pipeline price. You're going to want the actual sale price to a legitimate third-party buyer of your gas. Here we go. This is real, guys. All right. I'll just give you some time from September 2013, this example is the company who used the index price, local hub price, $2 they paid. The other company who paid the price that they sold the gas for, their price for the gas, same month, $3.09. Next month, the company using the hub price, local price, $1.64. The company using the price that they sold to a third party, $2.99. Almost, not quite, but almost double. Next month, $2, first company, and is $2.69. The company on a third party sale, $3.90. Pretty significant gap. Let's have some fun. I'll point out a couple big ones. Okay, in January 2014, the company using the hub price paid the landowner royalties at $3.05. $3.05. Well, that's pretty good. The company who went out, sold the gas to a third party and gave the landowner that gas price, instead of the $3.05, they paid $6.49. More than double. Here's another example. Hub price this month, $1.97. Company who paid the landowner on a third-party transaction, not at $1.97, but $4.42. $4.42. Here's a great one if we want to talk about big gaps. Here was one from 2015 where the company using the hub price, everyone, I hope you're seated for this, is $1.05. $1.05. The company who paid the landowner gas prices based on the sale that they had to a third party, Okay, not $1.05, but instead $5.08. Almost 5 times as high. Almost in that month, 5 times higher. Guys, why do we think that SWEPI added language saying that if we sell it to ourselves as early as the wellhead, we can then value your gas price at the local hub point, which coincidentally, in my experience, is almost always below, and sometimes we saw close to 5 times below the actual price obtained in the sale of the gas to a legitimate third party. Why is that language added? Well, I tell you, ask the landman. Ask the landman, who, by the way, works for the company, not you, the landowner. Why? Maybe ask yourself, did the landman highlight paragraph 4 and how affiliate sales may impact my royalties? Did they? Ask them. Please, guys, ask these questions. Ask these questions. Why is the lease form changed? Why now can you make affiliated sales and pay me pay me a gas price based on the local hub price? Why did you make that change? Because it's better for you, company? Or is it because is it better for me? Or is it better for you? Ask those questions. Oh, and by the way, as if we're not beaten down enough, here comes the last sentence. Both items 1 and 2, being how they set the sale price, are subject to the lessee or company's right to deduct the landowner's royalty percentage share of post-production costs. So again, let me use that real big example to illustrate. So in this particular month, one of these months, 2015, where the landowner on the local index hub price was paid $1.05, but the other company under the same person, had their gas valued at when the gas was sold to a third party. Again, this is the same human being, the same person. One company set the gas price that month that they paid him royalties on, gas priced at $1.05. That same month, under the same lease, the other company paying royalties to that landowner, one of the companies had the gas price at $5.08. Almost, not quite. Let's just be nice. Almost 5 times higher, but let's say 4.5 times. 4.5 times higher. But 2. Not only did this landowner in this scenario have a gas price at $1.05 instead of $5.08. Now, from that $1.05, the company is then going to take deductions for transportation, gathering, compression, dehydration, and on and on and on. You got to know these things. You have to understand them. Now, look, doesn't mean you don't sign a lease. Doesn't mean that. Not saying don't sign. I'm saying understand these issues. And maybe you say, you know what? I'm not going to sign a lease unless I can have royalties without deductions. Or I'm not going to sign a lease that's going to set my royalty price, my gas price, where the calculation of royalty begins. What is the price that you company obtained for my gas? And, we want to be partners. We want to be partners. We hear that all the time. Okay. They would say, look, we're motivated to get the highest gas price because that gets us the highest profit. And therefore, we're going to go out and find the best market we can to sell your gas and give you royalties based on the highest price we can possibly obtain. That's our partnership. And the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, that is somewhat of a partnership. Yeah, company, we're relying on you to go out with our gas and obtain the highest price you can and to pay us royalties on that highest price you can obtain. We want you to go out there and find the best market and get the best price. We're partners in this. You, company, are motivated to get the best price. Then, therefore, we benefit from that. That's a good deal. Okay. However, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, imagine this scenario. Company produces the gas, comes out of ground at the wellhead. They then sell it to their affiliated company. Their affiliated company, sell it there. Well, so the affiliated company then at the wellhead, the second that gas hits the surface, now owns the gas. So there, well, what's the price we're going to calculate? Well, what did the affiliated company buy it from us at? Well, let's use the local hub price, which is probably one of the lowest prices in the country. Let's use the local hub price. So they set your gas sale price when they sell it to themselves at the local pipeline price, which is probably going to be really low. I gave you the example. 1 month, it was as low as $1.05, where the other company went and sold the gas for $5.08. So what happens then? Let's have this scenario, hypothetical. Company will use those numbers. Company sells it to themselves and values the sale at $1.05 because that's the local index or hub price. Then the company who's affiliated, who takes the gas, who gives it to the operator, and who gives $1.05 to the operator. Now that company takes control of the gas that they bought for $1.05. They then take it to market. And look, I'm not making these numbers up. They take it to market, and let's say they get what that other gas company got for the same exact gas, which was $5.08. So they bought it from their affiliated producer for $1.05. Then they went and sell it. They sell it for $5.08. Well, they just sold it for $4.03 more than what they bought it for at the wellhead. Remember, the company buys it from the affiliated producer. So these are two affiliates. They exchange $1.05 at the wellhead for the gas per unit. That affiliate who just bought it for $1.05 takes it to the market and sells it for $5.08. The affiliate just sold the gas for $4.03 more than what they bought it for at the wellhead. And you, the landowner, are not going to see any of that $4.03. I think I said 8, but $4.03. You're not going to see any of that. What you're going to see is your royalty calculated at the local hub price or local pipeline price of $1.05. Then you're going to have deductions taken from your $1.05, where if you had no deductions and you had a lease that protected you from affiliated sales, your gas price and what you would have been paid royalty on would have been $5.08. $5.08 per unit. But instead, the company sold it to an affiliate, sold it to themselves at the wellhead for $1.05, then took deductions. The affiliate who bought it at $1.05 took it to market, sells it for $5.08, pockets the profit, and you, the landowner, are receiving royalties at a price established at the local pipeline, and then you're having deductions taken from that. You have to know this. Now, again, this is not saying that you don't sign a lease because of this. I'm not saying that. This isn't specific advice for anybody. This is to get you thinking. This is to get you to understand. Is this a lease that you want to sign? And it may very well be. It may very well be. But if you're going to sign any lease, any pipeline agreement, any document, you need to understand it. You need to understand it. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, landowners are going to get crushed with low gas prices based upon the local index or local hub point. Going to get crushed by that. And I'm watching these. We watch this. And you're going to see these deductions being taken. So you got to know this and then make an educated, informed decision. Do I want to sign a lease that allows for these things to occur? Do I want to hold out? Do I want to negotiate more? What do I want to do? But you have to understand those things. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm here with you every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. on this station to bring you the information you need regarding Marcellus Shale, Utica Shale, and natural gas development in Pennsylvania. And stick with me through this break because there's a lot more to talk about. I'll be right back. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Once again, I'm here with you every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. on this station to bring you the information you need regarding natural gas development in Pennsylvania. And I jumped into today's show because I'm fired up, but I want to get back kind of a little bit more of the intro. In case you don't know, I represent landowners, gas right owners, and only land and gas right owners here in Pennsylvania. I have not, and record this, will not represent gas or pipeline companies. I will only represent gas right owners and land owners here in Pennsylvania for such items as gas leases, gas lease negotiations, reviews and consultations. Again, real quick, I do so many of these reviews and consultations. We do a ton of them. A ton by telephone. You can be located literally anywhere in the world as long as you have access to a phone. We can do these. You send in the information. I review it. We can set up a conference call. And boy, you are always invited to come to the office for these. But if you can't make it to the office, I do them with clients all across Pennsylvania and literally have done it across the country and even into other countries. So please do not be discouraged if you think, well, this guy's too far away. I'm telling you, I've represented clients, again, guy Micronesia, look it up, South Pacific Island, all over the country, all over the world. So don't be discouraged by distance. Give us a call, 570-307-0702, 570-307-0702. Obviously, represent landowners, unitization, unit issues, royalty issues, surface use agreements, pipeline agreements, negotiated, consulted with, worked on pipeline agreements with over 60 different pipeline companies in Pennsylvania. So I say that to give you an idea. This is what we do. This is what I do. And these reviews and consultations will be with me, not any associate or anything like that. We will talk and go over, and I will make sure that you understand all you need to know and answer all of your questions. And then you decide. You always decide what you want to do. I never decide for anyone what they should do. That's your decision. But we want to give you the tools and information to allow you to make the right decision for you and your family, because most of these decisions do not just affect you, but they affect future generations. So you need to make an informed decision. So these reviews and consultations have been outstanding, where I'll talk to people, go over everything, and get an idea. Hey, do I want to continue to pursue this agreement? Do I want to go ahead and move forward and execute, sign it, move forward, lock this thing in? Sometimes that happens. Absolutely. Do I want to negotiate? Do I want to hold off? What do I want to do? I look to give you those tools to allow you to make those decisions. So also make sure you check out pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Whether you're looking for information or potential representation, go to the websites. Remember, if you don't call me, call someone who knows what they're doing. Call an experienced, knowledgeable attorney before, not after, before you sign any contract with a gas or pipeline company. Again, whether it's me or somebody else, call someone. Do not just sign. Do not just rely on the company employees, representatives, or landman. They work for the company, not you, the land owner. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. So again, I want to wrap this one part up because I talked about it last week too, but my God, it's so important. I look at these things every day. I see when a company changes the language that they're offering to landowners in their basic lease form. The form lease, the lease that they present to you is a form. Then you can add addendums and make changes, but they present to you a form. When that form changes, we need to study that change and ask ourselves why. And in this case, it seems to me, in my opinion, abundantly clear why. Because the company, in my opinion, wants to sell the gas to themselves at the wellhead, give you the local pipeline price, which is routinely, in my experience, routinely lower than the actual price that a company would obtain if they sell the gas in the open market. So they want to give you the lower price to value your gas at, and then take full and total, as much as they're allowed to by contract, deductions for post-production costs. That's my opinion, and I'm pretty firm in that opinion. So again, we need to understand that. We need to know that. You have to understand those things. And then you may say, hey, look, I'm going to go forward. This is what I want to do. Or you may say, boy, I didn't realize that. So let me think about this some more. And believe me, that's just one part of it. We're just focusing in on one part. I've been doing the show for 6+ years. It's not because there's only one issue to talk about. I assure you, I haven't been able to do the show for 6 years because there's one issue to talk about. There are many issues to talk about. And in fact, my radio show idea list, every week I go through and I have this master email. I send it to myself, and it's called Radio Show Ideas. And every time something comes up during the week, I add it to this email and I send it to myself again. I have 4 pages of radio show ideas. 4 pages. 4 pages of what I think I need to get out there to try to educate and inform our landowners. 4 pages. So I'm not running out of material, I assure you. And it keeps adding and changing. And what I have to do is try to prioritize. I have things on this list that I've been trying to get to for 6 months and still haven't been able to get to because new things keep popping up. So the point is, there's a lot you need to watch out for. Real quick, please understand, just because you or your neighbor did a lease before or you've read online, just please understand there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it than you can pick up online, because now we see developmental issues. Now we see how companies have manipulated, in my opinion, found loopholes or knew of loopholes and now are driving through them. We now know so many more of these things that we can educate you on, that you're not getting that information elsewhere. So you got to go to somebody who knows, whether it's me or someone else. Go to somebody who knows. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. All right, let's stay on this theme of deductions. This, I'm telling you guys, this is pretty remarkable too. So, okay, so royalty deductions. We don't want them. Talk about loopholes. Talk about misunderstanding. This is the biggest area. I mean, I don't know. It's an ocean of misunderstanding. It is an ocean of misunderstanding and loopholes. So we got to look. There's so many different ways that royalty language is being written, and it's being creatively written. It's being changed. We just went through an example in the first part. How can we operate in order to maximize our profits? Hey, look. Are you going to fault a company for doing that? Are you going to? No, they have an obligation to their shareholders. They need to make the most money they can. And you have an obligation to yourself and to your family. So these negotiations and this back and forth, it's adversarial, as I say, in order for each side wants to get the best agreement. But it's not adversarial. I hate that human being, or I don't like that particular person. Well, sometimes it may happen. But the point is it can be, contracts are negotiated. People do business together, and you want to negotiate. The company wants to negotiate the best contract they can. You want to negotiate the best contract you can. And the problem is that people aren't negotiating the best contracts that they can. That's the problem, and that's what we need to change. So, okay, royalty deductions. We don't want them. And what happens is these royalty provisions are written in so many different ways that the landowner can be very, very confused, and companies understand. They read these internet message boards or whatever we call them, and they read them and they say, hey, people are talking about these deductions. Let's figure out how we can word this and maybe maximize our profits. At least that's my opinion. So let me give you an example of a company's royalty addendum that they've offered to a client landowner just very, very recently. I looked at this again just this week. And so this is familiar. This is the market enhancement clause. But here's what it says. And the landman, I know this 100%, says to landowner, hey, we're going to give you royalties. No post-production costs. No post-production costs. That's the representation. Here's the royalty provision. Standard classic market enhancement clause. So, landman says, hey, landowner, here's your royalty. It's going to be without deduction. No post-production costs. So here we go. Royalties shall be paid on oil and gas substances produced and sold. This is always fun. Without deduction. Great. For the cost of producing, gathering, storing, separating, treating, dehydrating, and compressing, transporting, or otherwise making the oil and gas produced from the lease premises ready for sale or use. So they say, hey, we're not going to take deductions for gathering, transportation, dehydration, compression, and so on in order to make the gas ready for sale or use. Often you'll see in order to transform the gas into marketable form. But what they're saying, no deductions to make the gas ready for sale or use. Then it says, all oil and or gas royalty shall be delivered free of cost into the tank or pipeline for oil and into the pipeline for gas, with the exception of the lessor, who's the landowner, prorated share of taxes measured by volume on the oil and or gas royalty. All right, we're going to just go by that statement because the next one is what we really want to pay attention to. So, okay, remember, first sentence, no deductions to make the gas ready for sale or use. Okay, here we go. Next two sentences away. However, any such costs which result in enhancing the value of the marketable oil, gas, or other products to receive a better price may be deducted from the lessor, landowner, share of production, so long as they are based on the lessee or company's actual costs of enhancement. Well, geez, I hope they're not making them up. Okay, let me read that again. This is critical. So, no deductions to make the gas ready for sale or use. No deductions to make the gas ready for sale or use. Similar language, no deductions to make the gas marketable. Then verbatim. However, any such costs which result in enhancing the value of marketable oil, gas, or other products to receive a better price may be deducted from the landowner's share of production, as long as those costs of the actual or as long as those costs are based on the company's actual cost of enhancements. So, no deductions to make the gas ready for sale or use, but we can deduct enhancements of marketable gas. And as our All Things Marcellus listeners know, many companies say that the gas is in marketable form at the wellhead, that it's ready to be sold or used at the wellhead. Therefore, any costs for gathering, transportation, compression, dehydration, and so on are actually enhancements, and therefore deductible. Therefore deductible. No deductions, deductions. I'm going to explain. Stay tuned to this last section. We're going to go over a check. I think you're going to find this very, very interesting. So beware of the promise of no deductions. Beware, because there's a lot of semantics going on here, and I'm going to explain. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Remember, Google it. Check out PAGasLeaseAttorney.com. Check out PipelineAttorney.com. Do not sign any contract or agreement presented by a gas company without consulting with an attorney. Whether it's me or somebody else, please consult with somebody. I'll just say this quickly. We do these reviews and consultations, usually take 2 hours or less. If you're thinking about signing, you're presented with an agreement, what we do is you can send that in to me. I review it thoroughly. We'll set up a conference call or an in-office meeting, and I will go over everything with you, answer all of your questions. I'll probably have done some background research about some development, and of course, factor in everything I know about your area and my experience to provide you good quality information and the tools that you need to make the right decision for you. And again, you can do that. Learn more, 570-307-0702. Take advantage of it. It has worked so well for so many people. 570-307-0702. Okay, now let's talk deductions. I am holding in my hand a check from a client from Chief Oil and Gas. For the check date is October 26, 2016. Remember when I just read the royalty provision where the landman said, hey, this will be royalties without deductions. And it had the language in saying no deductions for gathering, transportation, compression, all those different items in order to make the gas ready for sale or use. Same thing could be said in order to make the gas marketable. However, we are allowed to take deductions for anything that we do that, quote, enhances the value of the gas. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you, and generally speaking, what that's typically going to mean with most companies is you're going to have the deductions that you're seeking to avoid. The deductions are going to be taken. So here is the check for this landowner from Chief. So these are real numbers. These are real numbers. So in this particular month, the check was for the net amount the landowner took home in their pocket, $445.66. That was after deductions were taken, or better said, after deductions and enhancements were taken. So the deductions and enhancements that month were $278.27. Paid $445, deducted, what was deducted before that was $278. Well, what's interesting is these checks will have codes to explain the deduction. For example, if you see a letter T, that may mean a transportation cost deduction. If you saw a letter G, that may mean here's the money we're deducting from your check for gathering fees. Well, in this particular check, the code is actually GEF. One of the codes is GEF. And when you look at the index, GEF stands for, and I quote, gas enhancement fee. G is for gas, E is for enhancement, F is for fee. Gas enhancement fee. Then there's other deductions for what's called downstream service fee. But Chief, hey, and to their credit, they don't even fool around. They don't fool around. To their credit, they say, these are deductions that we're taking for enhancing your gas. In other words, transporting it from the wellhead to wherever it's being sold. That's going to be an enhancement. That's an enhancement. And that's how we're qualifying these deductions. So again, we need to be careful first of deductions, but just as careful about these disputed, what we think are not appropriate, enhancement charges. Now, let's give some perspective. This check also gives a year-to-date total. So this particular landowner, for the entire year, received, take home, put in the bank deposit, put in their pocket, a grand total after deductions of $2,631 and change. $2,631. That's what they put in their pocket. How much was deducted for enhancement fees and other smaller charges? How much was deducted? Took home $2,631. Deducted. This is on the check. $5,247. So take home royalty, $2,631. Amount deducted that the landowner did not get a dime of, $5,247. So remember, when the landman says, oh, deductions are about 1 or 2%, listen to this. This is year to date for this landowner. Take home royalty. Say it again, $2,631. Amount deducted. $5,247. So we have, if the landowner did not have deductions, they would have received $7,878. $7,878. But instead, they took home $2,631 because $5,247 were taken away in deductions. Those are the types of numbers that exist, that are real. And I took it one step further. This is about the length of my math skills. But what is the percentage of deductions then? Well, when you do the math, the difference between what the landowner was paid and what was deducted. Again, if there were no deductions taken, they would have received $7,878. $7,878. But $5,247 were taken in deductions. That's approximately 67%. 67%. Deductions consumed 67%. And guys, there are deductions that are consuming 100%. I just picked this up. I didn't study it all before. I did do the math, but I picked it up this morning just to get an example. And what an example it is. What an example. This wasn't something I scoured over. This is something that I picked up and said, okay, let me use a check. And the reason why I picked this check was because they call it a gas enhancement fee. A gas enhancement fee. Again, to Chief's credit, they're putting it out there. Gas enhancement fee. Well, the gas enhancement fee and the other smaller deduction, much smaller deduction, totaled 67% of what the royalties would be otherwise. Gives you an idea of royalties without deductions. Let me tell you guys, there are many companies that are paying royalties without deductions. So when a company says, well, we'll never do that, ask them, are you paying anyone royalties without deductions? Companies don't ever change until the moment they change. We're never going to give you more than $500 per acre. Then all of a sudden they offer $600. Well, they just changed. All right, I'm up against the air. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm here with you every single week at this time on this station. And remember, please stop signing bad agreements. And never forget, the landman works for the company, not you, the land owner. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone.